also, for our audience, define education reform. Are we talking just about public charters? What are the other touchstones of the agenda?
Yeah, sure. So on the culture wars, um, this all really took off during COVID, and then with the Governor Glenn Youngkin election in Virginia. The Republicans saw that they were onto something when it comes to parents' rights and parent choice. And so just in the past 3 years, there's about 14 or 15 states that have passed significant and comprehensive private school choice laws. So, the culture wars gets all sort of the attention in the media, but substantively, Republicans have been on a tear throughout the country at pitching their vision of private school choice. And, it's this thing that, even a broken clock is right twice a day. They're on to something. Choice resonates with voters because of course it does, right? Especially low income Black and brown folks who have never had any meaningful or good education choices. If you offer them a voucher, you offer them an ESA, they start thinking, well, this is better than what I have right now. And so, whereas Republicans have this vision of private school choice, on the Democratic side, we're still fighting this debate of choice versus no choice. We're not even in the choice conversation. And so, you ask Larry, what is ed reform more generally, and what is our agenda? So this is how I would answer that. So when I think of the challenges in education, I think the fundamental challenge in education, it's a design challenge, right? We have to take a systems approach. Now, if you're designing a system that's designed to continually improve or evolve to create better results, you need three elements. You need innovation, accountability, and choice. You need innovation so you can figure out what works. You need accountability so that you're only investing in what works. And you need choice so that families can decide for themselves what works. Because at the end of the day, families will always have the best interests of their kids in mind. But when you look at the education landscape, there is very little education. There is very little innovation in education, or at least a lot less than there needs to be. There is virtually no accountability for performance. We simply refund each year what we funded the previous year. And as you know, there's very little choice. So it's not just about choice. It's not just about charter schools. It's about much more than that. But that's a framework that we offer to folks who want to lead on this issue. Sometimes people tell me the more I learn about education, the less I feel I know. And policymakers don't know exactly where to begin. And we offer that framework. Just think about, how do we incentivize education? How do we remove barriers to innovation? How do we build data systems for accountability? How do we only fund what's working? And how do we expand choice and put power into the hands of families?
Mayor Elorza, give us some insight into how you decided that this was the space that you were going to focus your efforts after 2 successful terms. I want to walk through the process that you went through, what opportunities you looked at, and how you got to the decision of where you are today.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. If I could step back a couple steps. So as Larry mentioned, I'm the son of immigrants. My mother has a 4th grade education. My dad a 3rd grade education. They came to this country with nothing but hopes and dreams. And even though they didn't have a formal education, they knew that an education was a ticket to a better life. So since I can remember, it's been education, education, education. And I'd love to be able to tell you that I was that kid that always listened to mom and did the right thing. But, I was a dunce in high school. I had to get my act together afterwards. I started off at community college, etc. And once I got serious about education, that's when my life changed. So education did that for me. And I want to make sure that other kids have that same opportunity. So I ran for mayor because I wanted to transform our public schools. And then as mayor, I'll tell you, I received an education on the politics of education. I learned a great deal about the policy and the politics of it. And, having left office, I feel as though I have unfinished business. I learned a great deal about the politics, and I want to, impart some of that wisdom and share it with other elected officials. And I learned a lot about the policy, and I'm still learning about the policy, particularly in a moment, as I mentioned, that Democrats have lost the language, the ideas, the policies, and the vision, and that muscle needs to be rebuilt. And I think I can help contribute to rebuilding that muscle within the party. So I'll tell you, I continue to consider myself the luckiest man alive. I get to apply the skills that I've honed over the past 10 years of my life to a cause that I truly and deeply care about. And that's what brings me to this work.